We're set to go. Okay, the Protection and Policy Committee meeting for July 9th. It is 5:30. Protection and Policy. Will now come to order. Roll call. Alder Stevens.
Here.
Alder Vanderleest. Alder Stoyer.
Here.
And myself, Alder Scannell, all are present.
Okay.
Okay, I take approval of the agenda.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens.
With a caveat.
Well, I'll do the amendment after we do
I'll
the.
second it.
Okay, so all approval of the agenda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I make a motion that we move item 23 up to the first item.
Second.
Motion by myself, second by Alder Stoyer, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. I'll take a motion to approve the amended agenda.
1 second, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Just have to log the vote.
you can fight over who's gonna approve this.
All right.
Good?
Approval of minutes, yes.
Well, we didn't do, we had to approve the amended agenda, that's what we're doing.
Oh, I thought that.
Yeah,
We approved the
just-
agenda, then we made a motion to,
Oh, and that
In
vote
the
has.
That's what we're
future,
doing right now.
Okay.
Change that item and then approve it? Or do you have to,
no, so now a motion to approve the amended agenda.
so moved?
Alder Vanderleest, seconded
Second.
by Alder Stoyer, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, now the amended agenda is approved. Let me know when we go on to the minutes.
Okay. You're good for the minutes.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes for June 11th, 2018 Protection and Policy Meeting.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The minutes pass unanimously.
Alright. So we are taking up item 23.
We are taking up item 23, a request by Alder Weary which reads, due to constitutional concerns, conduct a complete review with possible action of changing or removing the city's code of conduct and ethics ordinances. Alder Weary cannot be here, he's on vacay, so I will take a motion to hold this item.
So moved.
Motion by Alder Stoyer, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will hold that item till next month. We are now back at the beginning,
Go back to item 1.
when you're ready.
Okay, yep,
Okay.
you're ready.
Consideration with possible action on appeal by Lisa Trotta objecting to the decision of that her dog was declared dangerous. Staff, do we have Officer Mavis?
It does not appear that Officer Mavis is here. So
Yeah.
we would have to hold this item to the next meeting.
Does somebody
Um,
speak?
Do we know, is she coming at all? Do we have any?
My understanding was that she was supposed to be here. So I'm not sure if.
Is there anybody here for this item?
I
Well,
make a motion to hold till our next meeting.
why don't we hold it till they could still, well, let's hold it till our next meeting, but we can always change if they show up. Motion to hold by Alder Stoyer, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that item will be held for our next meeting.
All right, now on to the next one.
On to the next one, a request by Alderberry to review with possible action the ongoing illegal keeping of 5 dogs at 1271 Hickory Hill. Again, Officer Mavis isn't here. Is there anyone here for this item? No.
Motion
This
to
is
hold
weird.
till next meeting.
Motion to
Yeah,
hold
let's
to
hold. Ready to go.
yeah, motion to hold to the next meeting by Alder Stoyer. Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's held to our next meeting. We just hold everything.
Okay, perfect for the next item.
Okay, for consideration with possible action regarding General Ordinance Number 17 through 18, or 17 and 18, creating a Section 33.08, subsection 7, subsection I, Green Bay Municipal Code relating to online ordering and curbside pickup of alcohol beverages. Staff.
So as previously discussed, staff has prepared an ordinance to regulate alcohol sales done via online ordering and curbside pickup. The provisions will ensure that retailers will adhere to the requirements under state statutes regarding our alcohol sales. And we based it off of the Madison ordinance.
Yep, by all means. I have a couple questions myself.
Joanne, I was just gonna ask, was there something that came forward on this, or was it just, you know?
We were getting a lot of requests. It's becoming kind of a more popular option with Class A retailers. And
Explain
based
it
on
just-
research and other opinions that we've received from the league, it's not something that's contemplated under state statutes or under our ordinances, but because of the fact that it could not be a face-to-face sale, which state statutes require that it be a
Right.
face-to-face sale, it was beneficial to a municipality to ensure that these provisions were being followed.
Obviously, must be going on in other places?
Yes. So there are other municipalities, I believe De Pere is working on adopting one as well. An ordinance, that is, to regulate this type of activity.
Okay, thanks, that's all.
Questions by anybody else?
Are we gonna hold it for a month until they have the ordinance drafted, or?
It's drafted already.
This
It's
is
in
it.
the package.
So we
just have-
Yep, this is
Correct.
this
Yep.
is,
This is it, okay.
Yep.
so any questions on the ordinance? I think we need to change protection and welfare to protection and policy committee.
We do,
Well-
except that ordinance hasn't been adopted yet, or that
Finalized.
change
See, that's
hasn't been
why-
adopted. It's
Ah.
still.
So you were
right.
jumping in.
So
Oh,
the
yeah.
recommendation
The
was
next meeting.
passed, but
Ah.
the change has not happened yet.
So it really
Yeah,
is
it said
protection
it.
and welfare. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did, I
so-
jumped the gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, once that passes, then it will be changed.
That'll
All
be
right.
okay, that'll be all right.
Then I do have a couple of questions, and I don't know, since this was based off Madison, if we have good answers for them, but I'm curious as to,
Can we revisit?
Item 9. No events other than the delivery of the click and collect order shall be allowed on the expanded premises. So if there is a bar that's doing click and collect, which I'm assuming they can do, correct?
Let me pull that up.
This is any establishment that sells alcohol, so I'm
I
assuming.
thought I had a copy of it, but I didn't.
Okay.
I'm pulling it up right now. So that
That's
was
number 8.
item number, or section number 9.
Yep.
The licensed, okay, I'm not sure if I'm looking at the same section you are. The licensed operator shall report to his or her manager.
No, it's 9, no events
Oh.
other than the. Yeah, it's just number 9, there's no subsections to it or anything, it's just number 9, page 3.
Right thing. No events other than that, yeah, but I'm looking at a different one. I think it might have been changed. Yeah, this is an old one, that's why. Okay, I was looking at an old version, that's why it's the confusion. So no events other than the delivery of click and collect shall be allowed in expanded premises. Yes, so the purpose of this is if a premise is licensed, it's so licensed to perform any lawful activity under that license. So if a parking lot is part of your licensed premise, you could be serving alcohol or selling alcohol if you have, well, selling, not serving, at a Class A establishment in the parking lot. So we want to prevent that. From-
But I mean, we have had establishments come in for a special permit,
Right, and that's a one-day thing. This
And
would
that's-
be a permanent thing.
Those
They
be
could do
all
that
the
whenever
time.
they want.
so
to,
that's what I wanted
without
to
ever-
check, that's not,
Correct. Yep,
okay.
yep.
Okay.
So if they do want to hold an outdoor event, like a one-day outdoor event, they would be able to come in and ask permission
For
for
that.
that, like, one-day expansion. But this would be,
Oh.
if it's a permanent part of their licensed premise, that's how it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to double check on.
Okay.
Also, the hours, number 5, pickup of click and collect order shall be between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
That might be on.
Those seem weird hours to me.
Right. I think we were going to remove that provision.
Yeah, because do we really care what hours?
Well, there are hour restrictions for when liquor
I
can
mean,
be
within the-
sold. Right. To be honest, I think that we could remove that provision. It was part of the Madison's template, and I think that had a lot to do with there being a very large university within the limits of Madison, and to prevent straw sales from occurring. And they also have restrictions, much stricter restrictions as far as when alcohol can be sold. I believe it gets cut off a lot earlier than it does here, which is also related to preventing underage students from purchasing alcohol. So I think that's a remnant of that, but we can certainly remove that and then bring that back.
Okay, well, I'll
Or
make...
you can approve it with that change.
Yeah, on that particular one?
Well, not.
Okay, well, hang on, let's just
Go
take
ahead.
care of item 5. I make a motion that item 5 be stricken from the ordinance. That we don't need to have the hours. They'd be the same hours as the establishment being open, and you can sell alcohol within.
I guess, I just have maybe you could clarify or somebody, but
On that
the click and collect, I mean, to me, it sounds like we're trying to limit that type of thing, but then it's.
No,
It's not necessarily limit, it's just to ensure that the process by which the retailer does these sales, that they are adhering to state requirements, meaning that it's a face-to-face sale, that they are checking IDs of the person that's in the car, that the person that's delivering the alcohol is a licensed operator or is directly under the supervision of a licensed operator.
and old enough.
Is
And
that-
old enough,
Is that gonna be
correct.
hard for the police to deal with? I mean, if that was in? I mean,
At the point of
like-
sale, there's really nothing we can do
I mean,
about
Right.
it.
I mean, if something wasn't of
They
rags.
will, part of the ordinance, they will be keeping
Well,
track,
but
and
if
they will have to keep.
if I could though, we're on 5, and I made a motion, we're jumping all over here. Let's
Well-
stick to the motion. If there's anything on the motion, we can go to but we should stick to the motion.
All right.
Anything on the motion to remove item 5 from, yes,
I'm just wondering if it might be useful, rather than striking the hours altogether, just maybe inserting a clause that says it should be in alignment with whatever the established sale hours are. So that way, if the hours ever change, this ordinance kind of adopts with it.
That sounds reasonable.
And then it also provides some clarity about what those hours of operation are, rather than leaving that completely open.
well, you can't sell alcohol, you have to follow our ordinance to sell alcohol.
Right.
You can't, so,
It just provides an extra layer of clarity, I think, around that piece.
Randy,
Yep.
what do you think about holding it for a month till they clean up all the?
well, that's what we're doing. What we'll do is we'll go through it, clean it up, and then we can then vote on the cleanup. I mean, they can do it right now. They don't have to, they're gonna clean up what we tell them to clean up. This is what they've given us. It's up to us to
It sounds like
do.
they're doing a little bit of background checking as far as, with the other municipalities. And I think if we held this for a month, I think you'd have a little more time to clarify what you're really presenting us with.
But this is what they're presenting us with. I don't think that's gonna change.
We could change out that 8.
Right,
That
I mean-
8 AM to 8 PM was inadvertently left in.
Left in, right. I mean, if we hold this for a month, staff is not gonna come back with anything different than what we have, except for what changes we make now.
Okay? But I'm just asking our attorney there, would you like more time to look at it as far as before?
We can make the changes either way, it could be effectuated either way. If the committee makes the changes, the recommended changes to the text of the ordinance, then that will go to council for first reading as amended, and then that will keep moving on versus coming back to staff. But either way, you get to the same end point, it's just a different way of getting there.
Yeah, it'll take longer the other way, and staff won't know what to do unless we tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not gonna go through and say, and be able to read our minds and say, oh, we need to look at this. I mean, they've already gathered up all that they're going to gather up, and now it's for us to,
I was under the impression that they didn't quite have it all together yet.
no, I think this is all together. It's
Okay.
just for us to figure out if, any changes that we'd like to see. That's what staff does. They present and we tinker.
Are you all right with Alder Johnson's suggestion?
So the motion, I don't know.
Well, I will amend the motion that, we could have that discussion. I have no problem with putting in referring to our ordinances in this spot.
To strike number 5 and replace with language.
Yeah, or to
for
just
sales
strike it.
To coincide with time restrictions or.
Yeah, either one.
In the
Could you-
ordinance. Okay.
Whichever, does anybody have a preference?
I think the hours, the establishment hours, that was brought
To our
up.
ordinance? Right, I'll amend my motion that we substitute this number 5 with, strike out what's there and substitute our ordinance hours for selling alcohol.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's adequate enough?
yep.
All right.
And then I think, did I have one other question? But
But on
we
this-
can go back to yours now.
Well, do you want to deal on this point, though? You said you wanted to finish this, so you.
5, we're
you made a
finished. We did,
motion.
we made a
Nobody
motion, we didn't
seconded-
vote on it.
nobody
Thank you
seconded
very
it.
much.
There wasn't a second.
Nobody
either.
seconded it.
Nobody seconded. Is there a second for that? Second by Alder Stevens. Any other discussion? I'll take, all in favor of that motion? Aye. Opposed? Okay. It is so changed.
And then there would need to be a motion to approve as.
Well, let's see if there's any other changes first. No, I think that's it for me. I think that's the only two. I'm good with the rest of it. So does anybody else have any?
I just, one bit of
Sure.
clarification from our legal department, just on number 1, they're just talking about obtaining a change of premises from the common council. So
Mhm.
everything else, I just wanted just a clarification
Mhm.
on that.
Number 1.
Yeah.
So in order to be able to have a click and collect sales, you need to go through a change of premise. So they have to apply in the clerk's office, it comes to P&W, and then that goes to council. So it's just clarifying the process. At any time you have any kind of change in premise per state law, it has to be approved independently by the governing body. So even if you're adding like a storage room to your licensed premise, or if you're adding an outdoor premise, or if
You
you're
still have to go through the
adding parking lot
process.
stalls for click and collect, you have to,
Yeah.
All
it
right,
has
that's
to be
fine.
approved.
Okay.
We have a couple
I'm
other
good.
items coming up about premises.
Right. Okay, I'm fine with that, thanks.
Anything else from anyone? Motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Motion by Alder Vanderleest, seconded by Alder Steuer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have a click and collect ordinance to pass on to council.
Thank you.
Yes, Officer Mavis. Since no one else has come for these items, we just held them till next month, sorry. If that's okay. I mean, there's no one here to,
If I could speak to them real quick?
well, then, okay, I'll take a motion to,
Motion
One,
already.
I'm sorry, I'll have to jump back to the,
Yep.
and we're still on, I'm still on number 3, 1 minute.
yep. But then we're gonna go back to,
Number 1.
did you want to speak to both those items?
Yes, one of
Okay.
them I think has cleared itself up,
Oh,
Okay. All right.
which might expedite.
I thought one was a strange one, but anyway,
Well, just
okay.
let her-
Bill,
let her
yep.
talk.
Okay.
We'll go one at a time.
Okay,
All right, we're gonna go back to the original number 1. I'll take a motion to reconsider our motion to hold
So moved.
and That'd be consideration with possible action on appeal by Lisa Trotter objecting to the declaration that her dog was declared dangerous. Moved by Alder Stoyer,
Second.
seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Officer Mavis?
Yeah.
I don't know. Joanne, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Delay, my printer was taking its time.
That's all
I
right.
love technology. The one that I was speaking to is actually going to be 1271 Hickory Hill, if that makes a difference
point
for the
two.
minute.
Well, so there's nothing on this item?
Obviously, I can tell you what's going on with that circumstance, why the dog's been declared dangerous, if you want me to evaluate that.
Well, I just thought you wanted to speak to both, but I mean, I think it'd be better to hold that one then until there's some.
That's fine. And
Yeah.
they're the ones that are appealing at the dog owners.
Yep. Okay, well then, let's,
We'll just leave it as is.
well, we gotta hold it now. Motion to hold?
So moved.
Motion by Alder Sawyer, second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that one is held. So now, item originally number 2.
One second, I'm
Yep.
sorry. So now we're on to item number 2.
The original item 2, yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take a motion to reconsider the request by Alder Weary to review with possible action the ongoing illegal keeping of 5 dogs at 1271 Hickory Hill.
So moved.
So moved by Alder Sawyer, seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Officer Mavis.
Okay. There was a nuisance abatement meeting last week, which I attended, and the property owner has now evicted them. So obviously, they don't want to continue allowing their tenants to be in violation. They were aware of some of the animal issues, but not to the extent where some neighbors were actually putting their homes up for sale because it was so problematic. Yeah. And the stack of neighborhood letters that I had gotten. So we had worked with them for a period of 2 years. I'd cited them for numerous violations, obviously to no compliance. I cannot seize an animal unless by leaving it there will cause further injury or death of the animal, or likely to decline. So obviously there weren't grounds to seize the animals, which is kind of what we're coming across. And I've kind of been advised to cite them every single day, which, to be honest. So anyways, I think that problem has corrected itself. We did a nuisance abatement meeting because we had like 17 police calls there just for animal-related stuff in a very short amount of time, and the neighbors were fed up, and I don't blame them. And I'd obviously cited and no compliance. So they are now evicted, and hopefully the problem relocates somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do we know, is it gonna be in Green Bay?
I don't know. The tenant, or the landlord said that he's gonna put the house up for sale and not even rent it out anymore because of the problems.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
hopefully that corrects that issue.
Okay.
Any questions for Officer Mavis?
You see that, that's in
Sounds like a good solution.
Yep, thanks. Yeah, so I think we can receive and place this on file.
I'll do that.
So moved by Alder Stoyer,
Second.
seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that item has now been received and placed on file. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yep,
Thanks.
you too.
We're on number
Thank you, Officer Mavis. Yep, we're on action.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so now we're on the original number 4. Consideration with possible action on a request by Green Bay Sports Service, Inc. at 1265 Lombardi Avenue to amend their liquor license to include an additional plaza area in front of the Johnsonville Tailgate Village, previously discussed at the May 22nd Protection and Welfare meeting. Staff.
Yes, so this item was previously approved as a change in premise description. However, subsequently it was determined that this request was really one for an expansion of an outdoor license premise. And under our ordinance, an outdoor premise, there are certain requirements, and 2 of those are that there needs to be a fence that is 6 feet in height and impervious to the passing of drinks. And the proposed plan as presented by the licensee doesn't meet those requirements. However, there is a waiver option under the ordinance, and so accordingly, a waiver by 2/3 vote of the council is needed to waive the requirements set forth in the ordinance, and the outdoor premise can then be approved as presented by Green Bay Sports Service. So that's why we are bringing it back, so that committee can properly recommend that waiver.
Waiver, okay.
Waiver and approval.
Is there any concern with the waiver from staff?
We don't see any. I believe somebody was supposed to be here. I'm not sure if police department has any questions, regarding, no? Okay. Or if the committee has any questions. It appears that they're going to be using planters and bollards
Yeah, from
to
the-
delineate
yeah.
the space. But beyond that, we don't really have any other information as far as how security is going to be handled or,
Have we had-
I'm not sure if it's only going to be meant to be used during Packer games, or if it's gonna be used on like
Weddings
a
and other
rental,
things.
weddings and
Yeah.
parties and things like that.
Is there anybody here for this item? Motion to open the floor. Motion by Alder Stevens to open the floor,
Second.
seconded by Alder Steuer, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the floor is now open. If you could please come forward, state your name and address, and if you didn't fill out a form, please fill out a form before you go.
No.
Oh, you got it, okay, good, thank you.
It's Tony Perfetti, I'm General Manager at Delaware North.
Okay. Is this basically for the Packer games, or is it
Yes,
going to
Packer
include?
games.
Just the Packer games?
Just Packer games.
Okay, and how are you planning on, is there any concern about the perimeter?
No, the plaza is, as she said, is outlined by the bollards and planters. We have our security as well as Packer's security out there as well.
Okay. Any questions, concerns from anyone?
Just, I guess, you know, like I said, I've gone to a lot of games over the years and just seeing, you know, it's a nice area, but, you know, have you had any issues
We have not had any issues.
as far as, you know?
No, we
people
currently
passing?
sell both in the tailgate village, in the building itself, as well as a portable on the outside, which is in our current license, and we haven't had any issues at all.
I'm good.
Yeah, when you consider all the tailgating going on, I mean.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah. Okay, anything you care to add, or? No, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to close the floor. So, move by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the floor is now closed. Gentlemen, what would you like to do?
I'm fine with it.
So, a motion
I'll make a motion.
to
Approve.
amend the or approve the waiver? Would that be?
So it would be, so I typed up an example motion, to recommend that council waive the ordinance requirements for an outdoor licensed premise and to approve the proposed outdoor premise as presented by Green Bay Sports Service in their request.
That'll be my motion. Thank you.
So moved by Alder Steuer. Is there a second?
Very articulate.
Second by Alder Stevens. Any discussion? Oh, yes, Alder Dorf.
I just think since we need the 2/3 vote, it might be wise to recommend that they come to the council meeting. Because, you know, who knows, I don't have any questions about it, but everybody's not here tonight, so,
Yep,
okay?
yep, thank you. Yep.
All right.
In fact, I will take this very moment that I should have started the meeting with. Everything this committee does is just a recommendation to the council. Unless they've given us final authority on an item, which they have not on any item tonight. So this doesn't become official until it goes to council and council passes it next
A week from tomorrow,
Yes, next Tuesday.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock in the room next door. So it's always a good idea to show up, especially if there's any, I doubt there's going to be any questions or problems, but you never know. So, and just let me know, and maybe I might be able to move this item up. You don't have to sit there all night.
Will that be stated at council then?
I will let the city attorney know that.
Just to bring that forward?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, that's good.
Okay, so we have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Well, the motion has been made, and it's been seconded, and if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously on to council.
I have to be excused.
Oh, yep, and
I'll be back
Alder
as soon as I
Steuer will
can.
be excused for 7.5 minutes.
Another meeting.
Yep.
But I'll be back.
Okay. Item, go up. Yep, I'll wait.
Okay.
Item number 5, the regular number 5, original number 5, consideration with possible action on a request by Delaware North at 1265 Lombardi Avenue to hold a special event July 26th through the 29th this year, 2018. Staff?
Law department has no objections.
The police department is just wondering are these food booths, or are they vendors walking around like you see the beer and food vendors walking up and down the aisles in the
Is there
stands?
anyone here for this item? Motion to open the floor. By Alder Vandelis, second by Alder Stevens, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the floor is now open, please state your name and address.
20% general manager, Delaware North. Yes, it will be food and beverage locations and vendors.
Are there gonna be, because I know they always wear the day glow yellow shirt, are there gonna be people walking in and around the crowd, or is there like food and beer or soda booths?
Both, booths
Okay.
as well as vendors,
Okay.
selling both non-alcoholic, alcoholic, and food.
And the vendors are the normal ones in the stands?
Normal
that
ones, yep.
Know about karting and all that stuff?
Correct.
Anything else?
Okay.
Nope.
Anything from anyone else? Anything you care to add? Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to close the floor. By Alder Vandelis, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The floor is now closed. Gentlemen, what are your wishes? Motion to approve by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Vandelis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously.
Alright. Okay, we're good.
Item 6, consideration with possible action on a request by Richard Craniums to hold an outdoor event on July 28th and 29th. Staff.
Law department has no objections.
No objection from the police.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Vandelis, second by Alder Stevens. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Is Richard Craniums here?
Yes, but no need to open the floor in my.
Right. Is that, seriously? Craniums is
Yes,
the last name?
yes.
Wow.
It's the name of the establishment.
Ah, I was gonna say, man, okay. That- 7, consideration with possible, oh, are we ready? Okay. 7, consideration with possible action on a request by Brewski's on Broadway to hold an outdoor event on August 4th, 2018. Staff,
Law department has no objections.
No objections.
you concur?
I concur.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously.
We're good to go.
Item number 8, consideration with possible action on a request by Brewski's on Broadway to hold an outdoor event on August 25th and September 15th. Staff?
Law department has no objections.
We concur.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. Item number 9, consideration with possible action by Anduzzi's at 900 Kepler Drive to hold an outdoor event July 26th through the 29th? Or is that and the 29th? Looks like through.
I think it's through.
Through the 29th, with music on Friday and Saturday until 11 p.m. Staff,
Law department has no objections.
We concur.
love it when you concur.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder Stevens, second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously.
Okay.
Item number 10, consideration with possible action on request by ZZQ at 1035 Vanderbrack Street to have an outdoor event July 27th and July 28th. Staff.
Yes, so in their request, we don't have any objections, however, we just wanted to confirm something. In their request, they did indicate that they were going to be having underage persons on the premise, which is allowable so long as the premise is a restaurant or is operating as a restaurant, so we just wanted to confirm that they will be operating as a restaurant for the event.
Is there anyone here for this item?
Yes.
State your name and address. Oh, motion to open the floor?
Motion.
Motion to open the floor by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Okay, the more floor is now open, so please state your name and address.
My name's Catherine Stahl. I live at 2071 Bufflehead Lane in Green Bay. What we're planning to do is, first off, I need to amend to 28th and 29th. Is that doable? Because we're going to do Saturday, Sunday in my typing.
We can change,
Yeah, the
yep, we
committee
can amend that, we will amend that.
I'm looking at more of a picnic type scenario with families. Not that we're going to be serving underage. In fact, we have the under 21 armbands that if they don't have an armband, they're not going to get served. So blue armbands for those over 21 with underage with yellow armbands that clearly mark under 21.
So as a picnic, does that classify?
Right, as long as food is being served and it's not free and it's
Right.
being sold, then that would qualify as a restaurant.
Huh?
They would continue to fall under the exception where underage persons are allowed on licensed premise.
Sounds
so
like a
long
picnic
as
to
it's-
me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a picnic to me. Any other questions from staff? Concerns? Any questions, concerns from my fellow alders?
No.
Anything you care to add? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion to close the floor. By Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Floor is now closed. Gentlemen, what are your wishes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion approved by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. Have fun. Oh, we should amend that to the 28th and 29th.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to amend this item to July 27th and July 28th,
Motion to amend.
or 28th and 29th. I'll get it right. By Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion is now amended. We don't have to pass it again, do we, as amended, I suppose, huh? Yeah.
1 second.
Motion, yep.
Okay. Yep.
I should have made a note.
That's okay.
Motion to approve as amended by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The amended 28th and 29th is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're good.
Item number 11, consideration with possible action and request by Surreal Hospitality LLC at 1139 Main Street to amend their liquor license to extend to an adjoining building currently used as Al's Upholstery and include an outdoor seating area staff.
The licensee is requesting an outdoor space. In addition to extending to the adjoining building, they want to have an outdoor space. But they did not present a plan or specs as to what the outdoor premise would look like, and whether it would comply with our ordinance requirements. So we would recommend holding until they're able to present those specs so that we can verify that it's going to comply with our ordinances or if it's going to need a waiver
Okay?
by council.
Is everybody here for this item? Motion to open the floor. Motion by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Floor is now open. Please state your name and address.
Kaveh Barakshan, 1115 South Monroe Avenue.
Okay, and you'll be able to provide.
Yes, ma'am. When I sent the request to Jamie, she said send an email, and then she didn't say to attach a drawing.
Right.
That's why I brought it with me.
Oh, okay.
We actually have
Perfect.
them here.
Did you want to take a look?
Fantastic, sure.
And
Cost you
actually,
a nickel.
the outdoor space is behind the premise. It's not on the side or in front.
Okay.
And I have bigger plans if you want them.
Bigger than that? Oh, okay.
So what kind of fencing would you?
So we were thinking, see, these are brick columns
Uh-huh.
here, and it was gonna be probably a 6-foot fence, whatever plan called for. It was gonna be completely enclosed, you can't have it from inside here, you have to come inside the premise.
Oh, so there's no outdoor
No,
access
So
point?
we talked about having something on the side. Like I said, this hasn't got to the point where I asked what planning would be okay with.
Sure.
I wanted to make sure you guys said it was okay that we could do this before I spent the money
Gotcha.
to
Mhm.
go discuss it with them. But yeah,
Okay.
at this point, it would just be for an outdoor space
Okay,
in the back.
okay, all right.
So,
Based on this information, staff would not have any objections.
We can,
concur. Any concerns up here?
Cool.
Nice plans.
Thank you.
Anything you care to add?
No, if you want to keep me, you can.
Well, thanks. I I have a bare space on my wall. Motion to close the floor. By Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens, all in favor? Aye, the floor is now closed. Did I say that correct, by the way? Soraya?
It's
Soraya?
Soraya.
Soraya.
It's my daughter's name.
The wind called Soraya.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve? By Alder Vanderleest,
Second.
second by Alder Stevens, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, we're good.
Item 12, consideration with possible action on a renewal application by Karaoke Mexican Restaurant LLC at 418 South Military Avenue, filed with the clerk's office June 7th, 2018.
Law department has no objections.
Concur.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve for Alder Vanderleest.
Second.
Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously.
We're good.
Item 13, consideration with possible action on a Class B combination renewal application for Los Benditos East at 1258 Main Street, filed with the clerk's office June 26, 2018. Staff.
Law department recommends denying this renewal, or recommending non-renewal of this renewal application. The premise has been vacant and not operational for quite some time. Under our ordinances, any license that is not in continuous use in a manner indicating an ongoing business for a period in excess of 60 days is presumed invalid and subject to revocation or non-renewal unless otherwise authorized by the council. All the circumstances indicate that the licensee is simply just trying to hold on to the license in order to keep it from becoming an available license, and there's no plans that staff has been made aware of that a business is going to be opening up in the near future.
Okay. Got motion to open the floor. Motion for Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Would you? Okay, please come up and state your name and address.
Pat Weinborn, Los Benditos. That, I guess that is true, I'm not sure about us reopening as existing Los Benditos. Reopening, again, there's been some inquiry from some employees, but this was a recommendation also by the Realtor because of interest by some other people. I understand there wouldn't be an automatic transfer in case I know there's licenses available at this time, but if there weren't licenses available, then we would be able to surrender the license, and although that would not guarantee a transfer, at least the prospective buyer would have a license available they could apply for. So,
Are there some fish on the hook?
yeah, there's I don't know, there's been a couple offers,
Some
one we
nibbles?
turned down
Oh,
recently, so I don't know if they're gonna counter or not. So we're still waiting on that.
okay.
Could we hold it for 30 days, give them 30 days? Would that help you out if we gave you 30 days?
It's entirely up to the discretion of the committee what time limits you want to set
I
forth.
say 60 days.
60 days? Want to hold it for 60 days? We can hold it on for 60 days.
That would be helpful, yeah. If I could-
How about 59 and a half?
Okay. That'll work too.
Yeah. All right, there's a motion to hold this item for 60 days by Alder Stevens. Second by Alder Vanderleest. Any discussion on this? No. I got no problem with holding this for 60
We
days.
need to close the floor first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, I'm sorry. Yep. Nothing else?
I have a question. Do I then pay the $500 for the 60 days? Would I be required to do that? for
I
the
think
renewal?
you
'Cause-
wouldn't pay until, I would double check with the clerk's office. I'm not sure how that would work
Because they
exactly.
recommended I just pay the publication fee, pending your,
Until the actual renewal. I think you wouldn't pay the 500 until you were getting them, like you wouldn't be able to
Okay.
get your renewal license until you pay it.
okay,
But I would double check with Jamie at the
check
clerk's
with
office.
them. All right.
All right, thank you. Yep. Motion to close the floor. By Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The floor is now closed. Well, let's do it again. Motion to approve, to hold for 60 days by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor? Aye. Left me hanging there a little bit, guys. Opposed? Okay, this motion, this item will be held for 60 days.
So just so that I'm understanding correctly, that it would come back to P&W
Yep.
for renewal? Oh,
Yep.
perfect.
By then, we'll be protection and policy.
We should be. All right, thank you.
Thank you. 14, consideration of possible action on an application for a Class A liquor license by Quick Trip Inc. at 935 Lombardi Avenue. Currently has a Class A beverage and Class A cider license. Staff,
Law department has no objections.
Concur.
concur. Motion to approve by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
We're good for the next one.
Number 15, consideration with possible action on an application for a Class A liquor license by Quick Trip Inc. at 515 West Walnut Street. Currently has a Class A beverage and a Class A cider license. Staff?
Law department has no objections.
Concur.
Okay, I know there are people here who would like to speak to this. Motion to open the floor by Alder Vanderleest. Second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Please come forward, state your name and address, and if you haven't filled out one of the forms, fill out.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Peggy Crabb, 122 South Maple Avenue. I've lived there for 30 years. Please do not grant Quick Trip at 515 West Walnut a Class A liquor license. This is a neighborhood. The Quick Trip owners cannot be trusted. They have not been honest with the city and the neighbors. At the April 2016 meeting with the Plan Commission, Hans Zietlow assured us, the neighbors of the proposed Quick Trip Express, that his store would not be open 24 hours. He said he wanted to be a good neighbor. The first deceit came 5 months later. The name changed from Quick Trip Express to Tobacco Outlet. The second deceit came 12 months from that change. As of May 25th, 2018, it has become Quick Trip and it is open 24 hours. How will they regulate the sale of liquor when they can't be honest with their neighbors? How will this benefit our neighborhood? It won't. It will cause more litter, more intoxicated people, and is not fitting to a residential neighborhood. They are not a good neighbor at all. The semis make deliveries all hours of the night. If they can't manage their deliveries during the daylight hours, how will they control what happens to their liquor once it leaves their store? The last thing we need is hard liquor in our neighborhood from a store that is open 24 hours. Quick Trip is already violating the noise ordinance on a daily basis, and this would only increase it. We have been there before, and we do not want to repeat it. Thank you.
Whoa. Any questions? Sir? Okay. Okay. Anyone else here to speak on this? Yep, oh, please, you filled out a form already?
Yes, I did.
Okay, please state your name and address.
Tyler Verhagen, and 328 East Pearl Street, Seymour. And on Quick Trip's behalf, we do have adequate recycling garbage containers on, at our facilities. As far as littering goes, ultimately, past our point of sale, there's nothing that we can control as far as that goes. And also, as far as any 24-hour sales go, we would be obviously with the ordinance of the city and everything else. We have on-site training for all of our coworkers. We have on point of sale that'll point out, ask for ID and anybody under 30. And we also do our own training and our own testing, our own checks on ID checks and everything else as a company. And other than that, unless you guys have any questions, I can answer.
What are your hours that you cut off the sales of alcohol? What are those hours?
It's 8 a.m. in the mornings when we start, and then we sell till midnight, or whatever.
Is that all types of liquor then?
Well,
No, our cider sales stop at 8.
Oh, okay.
So, yep. So hard liquor sales would stop.
They
at
can
the
buy,
city ordinance
they can
also.
buy beer till midnight, is what you're saying?
Yep.
That's my
And
question.
that all goes based on the city ordinances. Every Quick Trip is different as far as that goes, based on where they're located. So, yeah.
What about the Quick Trip originally say they're gonna not be a 24-hour operation there at that site, or how did that work?
And that, there's a lot of changes with that whole standpoint there. I mean, ultimately, the big thing that they tried stopping was once they went to the tobacco outlet from the expresses, they wanted to get that tobacco name back out. They wanted to step away from that and see if, you know, put a tobacco outlet in somebody's name, put in the Ultimate, and say it was a Quick Trip to start with. So they went back to a Quick Trip, but most Quick Trips are 24 hours, and that was above me. So,
That's my only questions.
Okay, good, thanks. Anyone else here for this item? Yep. No? No, you can speak up anytime.
I know, but I think it helps to get the sound right. So I would just ask the council or the committee if we could hold this motion for 30 days. I know that I've had conversations with a number of staff people about some of the issues that we've had since the store converted to 24 hours. And while we have one resident here today to speak to this issue, I know that I've had conversations with several others who are sharing similar concerns. And so I think from, you know, noise complaints and, you know, some other things, I think, you know, staff has agreed to talk to, I guess, the corporate office at Quick Trip to see if there's a way that we can alleviate some of those concerns. But I think before we kind of rush into granting something that could potentially create more concerns within that neighborhood, I think it would be wise for us to have the opportunity to see if there's a way that we can alleviate some of those other existing concerns before we kind of open up Pandora's box with another one. And I think this neighborhood in particular, historically, you know, we've had a moratorium on this area, and I think, you know, that moratorium existed for a reason. And so for us, again, to have an opportunity to address some of those concerns that initially drove that, I think it would be wise for us to be able to have those conversations a little higher up the pay grade, I guess, before we grant the license. So that's why I asked that maybe we hold it as opposed to just outright rejecting it.
Okay. Anyone else here for this? Yes, by all means. Have you filled out a sheet?
I haven't, but I will.
Okay, thank you. And state your name and address.
Miranda O'Keefe. I just moved, 1475 Crystal Lake Circle.
Okay.
And I am the store leader there. I was here last year when we applied. and
Well,
all
yep,
that.
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, buddy. And I guess I'm here to answer any questions. I think Tyler pretty much spoke to what has been going on and stuff like that. But if you guys have any more specific questions, considering I've been with that store,
Yeah.
I'm here to do that.
I don't know if I've got any questions for you.
Yeah,
Right.
regarding like the
You-
24 hours and stuff like that,
No, I don't have any
Yeah.
questions on that. That's not really part of the liquor license application. It's a separate issue.
Yep.
It's not.
Yep, and that's kind of just what I want to address. It's there's separate, there's
Yep,
things.
I believe it's separate and,
Okay.
yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
All right, cool. And about your pen.
That's exactly the point I wanted to make, because I was on production welfare. I don't remember anything talking about the 24 hours. I remember this very well, all of the different discussions we had on this particular property and the licenses that we did grant, but the 24-hour thing seems to be totally separate, and I don't know that it should impact on the liquor license decision.
Right. Anyone else here for this?
A point of clarification on that, it's not necessarily that it's 24 hours, as it is that,
There are issues.
I mean, the issues in particular directly related to the violation of noise ordinance.
Mhm.
And so that's the piece I think that it would be nice to be able to at least have an honest discussion around that. And again, why I'm asking that we hold it and
Right.
not reject it, because I think they are a good operator, and we do like their presence in the neighborhood as opposed to some other options that we've had there. But I think for us to have that opportunity to have that discussion about what we can do to control those noise issues before we kind of head into something else that could potentially create other issues there that, again, previously have been restricted with a moratorium.
Okay.
My suggestion, can we restrict sales until 10 p.m.?
Nope.
Until midnight over?
I don't think we can put any conditions on a license. That's always been staff's
As far as
position.
hours of operation,
No, as far as hours of selling alcohol, I mean, we have our ordinance.
right, and that's what it would be limited to.
Yeah. Anyone else before we get into discussion, I'm gonna close the floor unless there's somebody else Motion to close the floor. By Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I would just like to say that I've gotten some emails on this, and people have spoken to me on this, and I have gone around and talked to some of the neighborhood associations and so on. They have been here before, just to remind everybody, when they were going through the planning stages, there was talk about not being open past 10 o'clock, which I don't think relates to this, as I stated, but there is also an agreement to only sell beer. Now, that can change, and I don't have a problem with them coming forward to ask for a change, but it did start out that way. There was that expectation they would be just selling beer. We've denied their application in the past, mainly due, it's not just them, but it seems like there's a band on the west side from Mather to East Mason. We've denied every establishment on that band. There's 4 of you, because there have been issues with litter and pandering and people being drunk, loitering and so on. So, which to me is kind of a separate issue again, in that it's not the establishment that's at fault here, but it is an issue related to the sale of alcohol, and we have been temporarily, for me, as an emergency temporary action, denying these licenses until we get that under control. And I think we are making progress, talking to neighborhood associations, talking to people in the neighborhood. They feel things are getting better, but they're still not, a lot of people in the neighborhood are still against the sale of alcohol in that whole West Band area, not just this establishment, but all of them. So until the neighborhood is on board, it's their neighborhoods. For me, it's a fairness issue. Other establishments sell hard liquor, and I think eventually I'd like to see these establishments as well, just to level the playing field. But just as an emergency step to get a hold of some issues in this area. In the past, whenever we've done that, we've had some issues in the area, and we held the liquor license up until things got straightened out, and that did help, that did make a difference. So I think I'm in favor of doing that again. So to hold it until next month, I'm actually thinking we need to hold it longer than that for that whole area. I don't know if we can, I would think almost come back in 6 months or whatever to apply again. I don't know if a month is going to be enough to address, because it's not just this establishment, it's the other ones. As I said, I've gotten complaints about litter, loitering, and the whole works. So we're working on that whole band. The police are involved, neighborhood associations are involved. I think we're doing better, but we're just not quite there yet. So I'm actually going to make a motion to deny this for now, and to come back. Hopefully 6 months we'll have this under control. The neighborhoods will be more people in the neighborhood. And I have gotten emails from people who are supportive of Trip being open 24 hours and what they're doing, and in favor of the liquor license. But the majority is still against for this establishment and others, as I mentioned in that band. So I'm going to make a motion to deny for now.
Okay, I got a question here.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, I was going to ask you, would you be comfortable with that 6-month delay, as far as that you could do a lot of the research in your own district there? Would that suit you as far as
Yeah, I think for me, that's plenty extension. Again, I think we do have a quality operator here, and I'm trying to balance 2 needs here. And I think a lot of residents do benefit from the services that they provide in the community, but we do have some outstanding concerns from the residents that are immediately adjacent to the property. And so I think much like any other issue that we take up here, when there are concerns with an operator of any license, we like to flesh out those concerns. We like to talk about them and resolve them before we grant renewals or issue new licenses. And so I just need enough time to make sure that we can have those conversations and address those concerns.
Well, and for me, it's bigger than that, in that if I okay one license for one establishment in that band, I want to be able to okay all of them to make it fair for everybody. And that, in that whole band, not just here, there are still some concerns. So,
chunk of that
until that
band-
whole area is on the same playing field, I'm going to vote no on any establishment until I can vote yes on all of them. And like I said, we're making progress, we're almost there, but we're not quite there yet. And it's not just this one, it's, as I said, that whole band on the west side there. So,
I'll second the motion then for the 6-month delay to get everything ironed out as far as the,
well, it's just a denial, and they can apply again in 6 months. I think that's just the way to do it. That's what we did before.
okay.
And they came back, and I'm assuming we deny now, they'll come back, and hopefully 6 months is enough. That we're making progress, hopefully the progress just keeps going.
Alder, just to expand on Alderman Vanderleest's question, does anybody know what the footprint of that moratorium was?
For the moratorium, actually, I'm not sure if it goes down there. It's more on Broadway. I'm not sure if it expands much west of that. So actually, technically, I don't know if they're part of the moratorium. I was thinking of that after we spoke, that the moratorium, there are parts of the city that we have a moratorium. It's just an advisory moratorium for no more, that we would not issue any more liquor licenses. Main Street, there's part of Main Street, there's part of Broadway, and part of Washington, if I'm not mistaken. So technically, I'm not sure if they're in, they're close, but I don't think they're in the area.
Okay.
So,
I think that's correct.
How does our attorney feel about the 6 months? You feel that would be a good idea?
It's really completely up to the discretion of committee and council. A liquor license can be denied for any reason so long as it's not discriminatory or arbitrary. A municipality is within its right to say, we just don't want any more liquor sales in this particular area and to not approve.
So how much longer do they have to reapply?
They can reapply at, I'm not sure if there's a restriction or not. I know there's a restriction for an operator's license, or when you are revoked, you can't reapply for a certain period of time, but I don't think there's a restriction for reapplying once you.
do we know when they last reapplied? Was it a year or 6 months?
It's been a year and a half.
A year and a half? It's been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
January was a year.
Wow, time
So my
flies.
point with this, Alder Scannell, the way that your motion stands, we're just rejecting it,
Mhm.
and they could come back tomorrow and submit the application again. If the intent is to hold it, you might want to modify that motion.
Well, I don't know how long to hold it. And I think if they're gonna apply again, it would be a good idea to maybe talk with neighbors, talk with the alders, and get a feel of when's the right time to do it. Because sure, they can apply again, and we'll just deny again if the conditions aren't right.
Well, that's kind of my point. If you reject it, which is obviously the committee's prerogative,
Yep.
but the 6 months is irrelevant then.
Well, right, it is, and I'm just hoping 6 months is gonna do the trick. I could be wrong, it might be a year, it might be maybe 4 months, maybe 8 months, you know, I mean, it's just a ballpark figure going on how things have been progressing and how I'm hoping they're going to progress. You never know, though, going forward, could go faster, could go slower. A lot of this has to do with homelessness, and now we're gonna be losing some federal HUD money, maybe perhaps. I mean, who knows what factors may come in and end up making this more difficult than it needs to be, or what, or easier, who knows? But for right now, from what the feeling I've gauged from neighborhood associations and from people in the neighborhood, they are more favorable toward this issuing liquor license than they were 6 months, a year ago, a year and a half ago. Because it was that some of the other establishments also came forward. I'm not sure, around that same time, I think maybe even later than that as well. And they were denied for the same reasons. So, you're right, it's an arbitrary number. I think, like I said, next time you come forward, maybe reach out to the alders, talk to the neighborhood, and we can gauge that feeling of when the neighborhoods feel it's right, and that's when it's right. I mean, it's really the neighborhood's decision. It's the establishments in their services, their neighborhoods, and it's up to them to decide what they value and to take into account how this affects the establishment, and and put a value on that and decide. And that's something the neighbors have to do. So, I'm just gonna deny, I'm not saying denying for 6 months, I'm saying denying. That's it. So, any further discussion? I have a motion to deny, and it was second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
So that passes 2-1.
And so that was.
Elder Stevens voted no.
Okay.
I think we lost Alder Stoyer forever.
All right.
It's the last item on that agenda.
Well, he said he's gonna ask to move it up. Anyway, we're ready?
1 second.
Kiddo?
Okay, now we are.
Item number 16, consideration with possible action on an application for a Class A liquor license for Quick Trip Inc. at 1712 East Mesa Street. Currently has a Class A beverage and Class A cider license. Staff.
Law department has no objections.
Concur.
Motion to approve by Alder Stevens.
Do we have more discussion on this location?
Well, you want to have a second for discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, second for discussion by Alder Vanderleest. Is there anyone here to discuss this issue? Did you have questions?
I want to know about Mr. Johnson there. Does this affect your district?
No. No. And it's out of that band of area that I was referring to before. As far as I know, there hasn't been any problems here or any concerns. Well, we got a motion to approve. You seconded for discussion.
Second.
There's no other discussion then. Motion to approve. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
All right, yep. we're good to go.
Item number 17, consideration with possible action on an application for a Class A liquor license by Quick Trip Inc. at 1871 Shawano Avenue. Currently has a Class A beverage and Class A cider license. Staff.
Law department has no objections.
Concur.
Good job, ain't it? Motion to approve by Alder Stevens. Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
Okay.
Consideration with possible action on an application for a Class B wine-only license by Badger State Brewing Company, LLC, at 990 Tony Canadeo Drive. Staff?
Law department has no objections.
We concur.
Not gonna whine about this one?
Not on this one.
Motion to approve by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Second by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously.
Okay.
Number 19, consideration with possible action on an available Class B combination license by the Booyah Shed LLC at 1800 South Ashland Avenue. Staff.
So this area is part of the Fort Howard moratorium area. Unlike the other moratoriums, this moratorium was actually enacted via a referendum and an amendment to the city's charter ordinance, so it's set forth by ordinance, so it's not discretionary. So the moratorium restrictions have to be complied with, and the moratorium prohibits issuance of liquor licenses except to hotels and restaurants. However, my understanding is that the licensed premise will be a restaurant, and accordingly would be allowed under the stated moratorium exceptions. So accordingly, we have no objections. I just wanted to make the
Oh,
committee
thank you, that was good.
aware.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Thank you.
We concur again.
Okay, so we are free to approve. Approved by Alder Stevens, Second by Alder Vanderleest, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I could go for the booyah.
They got good booyah,
Yeah.
guarantee it.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's on Broadway with his booyah shed. Go on Broadway, we're on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
That's him. That's the booyah man.
Ah, okay.
Very good.
Okay. very good.
Item number 20, consideration with possible action on an appeal by Ian Gertz in regards to the denial of his operator's license. Staff.
Yes, Law Department recommends denial of this appeal based on numerous offenses that substantially relate to the license activity, which indicate that the appellant is a habitual law offender.
We concur.
Okay.
There is a denial memo, there should be a denial memo in your packets, if not,
Yep.
you have copies.
Yep. Remember, we always just get those on paper, now we got them here.
There are not any felonies, however, under state statutes, a denial can be put forth based not just on a felony conviction, but if there are numerous other offenses that indicate that someone is a habitual law offender, that could be a basis for denial as well, even if those offenses are not felonies.
Felonies, okay. Is there anybody here for this item?
Motion on the floor.
Motion to open the floor. Seconded by Alder Stevens, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the floor is now open. Please step forward, state your name and address, and have you filled out one of the forms?
I have not.
Okay, if you could fill that out before you go.
I will. Ian Gertz, 2807 Viking Drive. I just want to say those offenses were kind of, they were previous. It's kind of been some space in between.
Well, just please, just address.
Me getting my stuff together, so I don't think that that's an issue for me anymore.
What was the issue before? What were your?
Probably drinking. Just drinking too much. But now I have the breathalyzer in my car. I'm going to treatment for it. So I want, I'm not going to be drinking.
Have you gone into any programs?
Yes, I'm in the Options Treatment Center right now.
Okay. Has anybody written anything for you? A letter or anything by any chance?
No.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Gertz? Mr. Stevens? Alder Stevens?
Where are you currently working now?
The Radisson.
What do you do there?
I'm a banquet bartender.
So that you have other bartenders there at the same time that you're there?
Yeah. But I would also like to work in Purcell's and in the lounge in the Radisson as well, which I'd also like to pick up hours there.
His license right now is denied, is that correct?
Yeah, it's denied, he's appealing it, correct.
I don't have as much.
Yeah. How long have you been in the program?
It's about 2 weeks now.
2 weeks now?
Yeah.
How long does it go?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I just kind of got my foot in the door and whatnot. We just got done with my initial assessment actually today.
Okay. Anything you care to add then? Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Motion to close the floor. By Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? What are your wishes, gentlemen?
I'd like to give him another chance. I know that it's, might help out as far as his employment, continuing his livelihood. I would be in favor of giving another chance as far as it.
To approve his appeal.
That's correct.
If he was working by himself, yes, but he's not working by himself, so I would not. He's still a mechanic.
Yeah, he doesn't need the license, doesn't need the license to, as long as he's working with someone else, this just gives him the independence to work alone, which it sounds like he wants to be able to do, because he'll be able to pick up more hours.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I should have asked. Motion to open the floor?
Motion.
Seconded, motion by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, just if I could ask you another question, please. How long have you been working?
At this establishment, it'll be a year in October.
A year in October?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to kind of move up, and it's kind of stunting me from moving up.
Okay. Again, you have no letter or anything from your bosses? or
I do
anything?
not. I'm sure, I mean, I could probably get one, but it would be kind of a hassle. I didn't really think ahead on it, which I should have done.
Mhm. Yeah, usually in cases like this, the more support you can bring, the better. But
Okay. Noted.
okay. Well, thank you. That's all I needed to know. All right. Well, he's been serving alcohol for a year. As far as I can tell, that there hasn't been a problem. Doesn't seem he hasn't been cited for any problems
Motion to
on the
close the
job.
floor.
Pardon? Oh, motion to close the floor. Thank you.
Second?
Motion by Alder Stevens, seconded by Alder Vanderleest. All in favor? Aye. The floor is now closed. So, my own thinking on this is that he's been serving alcohol for a year. It hasn't been an issue with his job. There hasn't been any problems. This allows him to move up the ladder and to expand his hours so that he can improve his livelihood. So there are no felonies. There are a number of issues here, though. But I'm inclined to also think, I don't think we're putting anybody in too much danger here by granting him his license. So I'm in favor of, you made a motion to
In other words, to
approve his appeal. I will second that. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
Thanks, guys.
Now remember, this is just an, yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay, we're set to move on to the next.
21?
Mhm.
Consideration of possible action on an appeal by Vangale Kunanen, hope I didn't butcher that too bad, to the denial of her operator's license. Staff?
Law Department also recommends denial of this appeal based on 2 felony convictions and several other offenses which substantially relate, and which also indicate that the appellant is a habitual law offender.
Okay.
Those offenses are also listed
Yep,
in the denial number, albeit in reverse chronological order. Not most recent, but
mhm. I did take a peek at this, but I'm spinning around here. Oh, there we go. Okay, is there anyone here to speak on this? Motion to open the floor. By Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The floor is now open. Please come forward, state your name and address. And have you filled out one of the forms?
I did.
Okay, thank
So my
you.
name is Bangbalai Kunanan, and I stay at 412 Mather Street. I lived there for 7 years now. I was convicted in '08 of some felonies. I completed probation successfully. I did 4 years on probation. And I've been working at Glass Nickel Pizza for going on 3 years now. So I kind of got a raise to do some morning shifts, but I can't work the morning shifts unless I get a bartending license. Because I've been waitressing there. Definitely been in the service industry for about the 7-8 years.
Okay, how long have you been at the Glass Nickel, did you?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yeah.
also worked at Bangkok Garden for the 4 years right after the last nickel. So I was employed throughout the whole time on probation. And yeah, I committed my felony back in '08.
Mhm. Yeah. There's been some other misdemeanors since then, though. Have you finished up? Let's see, in 2011, there's a year of probation, 100 hours community service, and 45 days jail time stay. I take it you're past that now? You've done all your community service and you're finished with your probation on
I
that?
did.
Just a clarification, Alder Scannell, that was for the previous felon, the 2011.
Right, that's after the felony. Right, the felony was in 2008?
No, I'm saying that the 2011 that you were mentioning was was listed for the prior applicant. Does that not show up on your?
Ah, it's all in one. I see.
Right,
I
it's
did
all-
not realize his
Mhm.
would show up in
Yeah,
hers.
it's just one memo and then it's posted
Ah, okay,
behind
thank you,
every.
thank
So I
you,
just wanted
thank
to
you.
make sure you were reviewing the correct offense.
Ah,
Another
yes,
question.
I'm not.
Yes.
Is
I'm
it only
not.
2 pages or 3?
There's 2 pages.
Okay, because the third page on here is blank.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. Yep, no, there are only 2.
Okay.
So if you
I'm sorry, I
scroll down-
apologize.
If you
I
scroll
thought
down, you will see.
each one was separate,
Mhm.
but I get it now. We're going to new technology here, and we're all, or at least I am, learning a little bit. Okay, then, okay. All right, okay, I see, then send this sort of conduct, no license, THC, possession of drug, okay. Yep. I have no further questions. Anything else you care to add? And Vongeli?
Von Belay.
Von Belay, sorry.
That's okay.
Von Belay, okay, thank you very much. Motion to close the floor?
Motion, second.
Motion by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. What are you thinking, gentlemen?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alder
Was
Stevens.
there a vote to close the floor?
Did we not vote? I thought we voted, didn't we? I know I took the motions.
Yeah, I didn't hear. If I
Oh, I'm getting a little punchy, gentlemen, so,
Motion to close.
no, we got that.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Okay, we closed the floor unanimously. All together now. And now a motion by Alder Stevens to approve. Is there a second? Second by Alder Vanderleest. Yeah, I think 2008 was a felony that was quite a while ago, it's over a decade ago. The other offenses I don't think are fairly substantial. I can understand staff being concerned. I think you've been working at Glass Nickel, there have been problems. So I also approve, so. Motion to approve her appeal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And then that'll go on to council. Not this Tuesday, the following,
That's 6.
at 6 o'clock, yep.
6 o'clock on Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank
Okay, we are good.
Item number 22, consideration with possible action on request by Alder Weary that all city campaign finance reports shall be accessible on city website for duration of elected officials' term and 5 years after leaving office. Records are to be permanently kept electronically and available upon request. Staff.
I would request that this be referred to the clerk's office. I'm not sure what exactly is posted at this point or what is required to be posted, but it's just referred to staff to look into it and they can report back.
Okay. I do have a question. Is all this information available from the state?
Potentially, I'm not sure. Again, the clerk's office would be able to
Thank-
answer that.
Okay.
Well, if you want.
Got a lot of tape. Are you falling apart?
Yeah, that's it.
I just don't. Okay, staff recommends we refer this to the clerk's office.
Motion is.
Refer to the clerk's office by Alder Vanderleest, second by Alder Stevens. I think that's a great idea. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure those are the exact two questions that I wanted to have answered, so to make sure that those questions are asked.
By the clerks.
By
Yeah.
the clerks, 'cause I think it is available somewhere else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
And it could be perhaps if they are, all we need to do is provide a link on our
Yes.
website, perhaps.
Yes,
It might
so,
just-
but just want to make
Yep.
sure that we ask the right questions so that Chris knows what to look at.
Yep. We're good with that?
Mm-hmm.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Getting close, gentlemen, we're getting close. Liquor violation reports from the police department, July 9th, 2018.
Over this past month, we didn't have any violations. One violation we did have for Cindy Lancy, owner of Catch 22. She was arrested and charged in circuit court. The district attorney referred it back to the municipal court. So the officer then issued a municipal court citation for resisting. So that's why that one is showing up.
Don't know. Yep. Yep.
Want a motion to receive and place on file?
Sure. Motion by Alder Vanderleest to receive and place on file, second by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I believe,
Item 23.
No, we moved that one up.
I believe we are at adjournment.
we are at adjournment. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Or maybe, wait a minute, I think it's gonna cost you $1.
Prices are jumping up.
Yeah. Motion by Alder Vanderleest to adjourn, seconded by Alder Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Gentlemen, we are adjourned
When is the next meeting
for
for you guys?
a month from now.
Okay, good, okay.
Thank you, staff. Well done.